I am Jen Sujinski. I'm the Student Success Facilitator. I am how long have I been working in Seymour? I've been teaching in Seymour for 19 years. Prior to that, I taught in the Madison area for about 6 years. But I was a school counselor at the middle school, and then I was a school counselor at Rockledge, and then 2 years ago, we got a pretty significant mental health grant. And so with that grant, I became district-wide focused on mental health and well-being. So that's a little bit about me and my role, and I have two, one not a teenager anymore, I have a 20-year-old and a 17-year-old, so been down the road with this mindful tech use stuff in my world. But so technology, digital technology has become an increasingly important part of modern classrooms. So we give your kiddos a Chromebook because it does help them develop problem-solving skills, it helps them to encourage creativity, it helps build foundational knowledge for career college-ready futures. It encourages collaboration. There's lots of collaborative ways that people can work with technology. It promotes curiosity, and it does increase access to content. So that's why technology-rich learning environments are so important. But with that comes the caveats, the pitfalls, right? There's a lot of great things about technology, but just like a tool, it can be used for good, it can also be used for harm. And one of the things that we're finding out about technology use is that it definitely impacts brain development. And because the human brain, prefrontal cortex, the thinking, the learning space in your brain, the part of your brain that helps you to press pause and be really mindful and make good, solid decision making, that does not fully develop until your mid-20s, right? They're saying anywhere between ages 25 and 28, that prefrontal thinking, deep cognitive part of your brain that helps you to press pause and make rational decisions doesn't really develop very much until your mid-20s. So the problem is that they're finding that technology use it uses the parts of the brain that the same parts of the brain, neurotransmitters that are involved with addiction, right? So cocaine use, etc., things like that, stimulates the part of the brain that releases dopamine, which is a neurotransmitter, which alights pleasure. Yay, yay, right? Those ping, ping, ping. So when we have an overabundance of technology use, that actually can create some damaging environments for their brain. So we really need to, as adults, help them to structure their time. And with that research that they have been doing, the American Academy of Pediatrics has found that mental health disorders have surpassed physical conditions as the main source of impairment and limitation in adolescence. And because of all of the mass information that are coming to our students, because of the access through technology, we as adults need to do a better job of providing that structure and that support so that they have balanced and more mindful technology use. Yes, we're giving them this tool for learning, but it's really still important that we as adults help our students to learn what balanced use is so that it can help the regulatory function of their brain, so their brain can develop in ways that will help them lifelong, right? So adults are needed, right? Our youth need our guidance and boundaries to help them make sound decisions when it comes to technology. And it's important that we ensure digital technologies are used responsibly and effectively by providing that adequate support. So there's 6 main areas of digital citizenship that we as adults, caring adults, can help provide that support and those boundaries for. Digital literacy, online safety, digital ethics, cyberbullying prevention, privacy and security, and digital footprints. We're going to talk a little bit about each one and what you as caring, loving adults can do to help your kiddos. So when we talked about digital literacy, we are referring to the ability to use online technology effectively and efficiently, right? Use it for its intended purpose. So our kiddos might need those reminders that their device is intended for work completion, right? Hey, I'm given this advice. That means I can check Twitter all night long if I want to. I can check the sports scores. Who got recruited for this? Who did what? What did they say about that player, right? Okay, but no, you can't just sit on Twitter all night long, right? And so a really great way for you to help your kiddo to structure their time is to ask those questions, involve them in the dialogue. Hey, you using that device for the intended purpose? Or remind me again about what the purpose of that Chromebook is for. Put it back on them and help them to reflect on what is the intended purpose of that Chromebook. Oh, wait a minute, it's for me to complete work, right? It's for me to complete academic tasks. Oh yeah, that's right. So you might say, a Chromebook is a tool, not a toy, and it has the potential to harm you if not used in healthy ways. As the owner of the Chromebook, I'm here to guide you and keep you safe as you learn to use this device. And you can insert any technology there. As the owner of this iPad, as the owner of this cell phone, as the owner of this Xbox, right? Any one of those technology tools has the power to connect and help, but also harm. So we want to help remind them of that intended purpose. Another element that you can help your kiddo with is to help them prioritize, right? And thinking about, am I using my time efficiently? And that looks like helping your kiddo set goals and time limits, right? So Mrs. Grassel talked a little bit about setting those time limits, and it is really hard to pull your kiddo away from a device, right? Again, those neurotransmitters, that dopamine flux is really, really powerful, but I don't want to go away from it, right? So it's really important to help your kiddos priority rank their tasks and help them make a plan to work through them with efficiency. And also to help them consider, what are tasks that I have to use my Chromebook for, and what are tasks I can actually use paper pencil for, or I don't need a Chromebook for, right? There are other tasks that do not require the use of a Chromebook, okay? It's also really important that we help them question and become really critical thinkers, because there is a lot of misinformation, a lot of incorrect information out there on the internet. Just because it's out there doesn't mean it's true, doesn't mean it's factual, right? So our youth need those reminders to press pause and think critically about the facts. What evidence do you have to support that, right? What evidence do we have to support what you're seeing online? Could it be true? Could it not be true, right? Are there other evidentiaries to the false or to the opposite? Right? Not everything that we see online is believable, nor should we believe it. Seeing is not believing, especially with AI. Okay? Space. It's really important to have that designated homework completion space in a common area where screens are visible and adult guidance and structure is available as best practice. It's pretty amazing. Filters are great, but kids are really savvy and they're really smart, and they often find ways to get around those filters, believe you me, right? Some of the things I'm like, what? Right? What were you looking up? Right? Okay, but screens do not need to be in the bedroom. We know, especially middle schoolers, adolescents, pre-adults, they like to have their space, and having a safe space in their bedroom is a great thing, right? They're starting to figure out who they are as a person, but that doesn't necessarily mean their screens need to be in there. Having their screens out where it's visible in the world, having a designated study space where that screen can be, where you can walk by, right, do the drive-by, their screen doesn't need to be in the bedroom, okay? You need to help them make quality decisions for themselves. Unplug. Our kiddos need the reminder to unplug and balance screen time. A great saying that Katie and I both use is be where your feet are, right? Just because you have your device in your hand doesn't mean you need to be into the device. Right? You want to really be in that present moment. Make time for exercise, activity, and being in person with other people, right? There is no substitute for the actual person-to-person, eye-to-eye, face-to-face connection with people. Yes, we make great connections with people online, but there's no substitute for actually being in person, right? So keep reminding your kiddos to be where your feet are. Just because you have your phone with you doesn't mean you need to be looking on it. I coach JV girls golf. I had to talk to them about that today. Just because you have your phone to enter your scores doesn't mean you need to check Snapchat. Put your phone away, right? Be where your feet are, spend that quality time with your golf teammates, right? So it's hard. It's hard as adults. How many times do you go to an event or a cookout and you see your friends on their phone when here we are hanging out by the fire? Like, we're not immune to it as adults either. Guilty. Guilty is charged, right? Okay, sometimes we need to remember that we've got to model not falling into that trap of mindless scrolling. Because we too get that dopamine hit, right? How many likes are on Facebook? Who noticed it? Oh, it's Senior Sunday. Oh yeah, who checked that out? Like, what? Why do I care, right? Because my brain says, ooh, alert, ooh, feel good, right? And I'm almost 50, and I have pretty good most of the time, pretty good regulatory strategies, right? Still have impulse control issues, right? Still working on that. We're growing and learning too, right? But I'm almost 50 and I struggle with that. Think about my 17-year-old. Think about your 12-year-old. Think about your 8-year-old, right? So we've got to model how we balance and how we unplug. Okay. We'll talk a little bit about online safety, privacy, and security, and I don't want to steal Zach's thunder because he's going to talk a little bit more about this. When we talk about online safety, privacy, and security, we're referring to the knowledge and skills needed to stay safer, because there's always unsafe situations in the world, right? We just want to make it safer. Reduce risks and to protect and safeguard personal information when using digital technology. So a huge part of this is privacy. And I know you're like, yeah, we've heard it before. Keep your name, location, phone number, birthday private, right? Keep your passwords private. But why? Well, make sure that your kiddo understands that. If you don't know the person in real life, you can't be sure who they are, who they say they are. Okay, so just because you get a message request on this chat platform or on this video game or on your Google Classroom, if you can't identify that you know that person in real life, you don't know them. We talk about passwords. That's a really important one. Only create accounts with trusted sites that you know are vetted and secure, but also use really strong passwords and keep them private. Every year we have situations where students share their passwords. Hey, will you check my streaks for me? Or, can you make sure that I turned this assignment in? We have kids who cheat, copy, plagiarize, make edits on a document that's not theirs, and then turn it in or share it with someone else. These things happen, right? What do you mean? They went into my ELA homework and they changed it? Yep, they did, right? How did they get your password? Well, that's what happens when you don't keep your information private. It's no different than giving your locker com. My locker com gave it to my friend to put my code away, and then all of a sudden $20 is gone. Some friend, right? Well, same deal, right? We're talking about teenagers who are sometimes impulsive, right? They make mistakes. Good thing there was no technology around when I was their age, right? Location. It's really important that we teach our kiddos to keep their location settings private for family only, right? Location settings for applications like Snapchat, Google Maps, help your student differentiate between families and others. It is absolutely okay to have your location settings on for Life 360 or your Google Maps, because they have access to that stuff. It's okay for families to have access, but your friends don't need to know where you are every minute of every day, right? Healthy boundaries. Healthy boundaries. Everybody that you're friends with or connected to doesn't need to know where you are every moment of the day. It's okay to be in real life, be where your feet are. It's okay to miss people. We're going to talk a little bit about digital footprint. Digital footprint refers to the traces that people leave behind when they use technology. Think breadcrumbs in the forest, right? There are no secrets online. Digital footprints have lasting impact on a person's reputation, both personally and professionally. So a good rule of thumb is when you talk to your kiddos about their digital footprint or their reputation, is to think before posting. Encourage them to do a self-check. Pretend your grandma's on your shoulder. Would you want grandma to see what you're posting right now? Think she'd be proud of you? Think she'd be really like, wow, look at me, look at my grandkid. Oh, I'm so proud of that behavior, right? Okay, would I want my teachers to see that? Oh, I look really great in this outfit. Ooh, not sure I want that teacher to see that. Okay, would you want your families to see it? Do you want your future employers to see it? And it could be something as simple as I post a picture on Google Classroom of me not in my best face, and then people make fun of it and comment on it, or give me a hard time about it, and then somebody edits it, and then it gets shared, and someday down the road, when somebody Google searches my name, there that picture shows up. So I'm applying for a job, and they Google search me, and that's what comes up about me. Stranger things have happened, right? D1 college scholarship athletes have posted things and no longer have their scholarships anymore, right? There are no secrets online. So again, self-check. Would I want my future employers to see this? Would I want my family to see this? Would I want my teachers to see this? If the answer is no, probably don't want to post it, right? Probably don't want to send an email. We oftentimes, with Google Classroom, will have students share homework assignments, and sometimes kids will get the brainy idea to start a funny assignment, but forgetting that, oh wait, my teacher has edit access where they can see it. So it's always interesting to be like, are we sure that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing right now? Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. You gotta think before you post, think before you send, right? Because there are no secrets, okay? Digital ethics. That refers to using online technology ethically and responsibly, including avoiding plagiarism, respecting intellectual property, and AI, right? Avoiding inappropriate or offensive online behaviors. So what's really going to be important for you as adults is to talk really frankly and openly without judgment with your kiddo about what they're doing online, right? Be ready to have some courageous conversations and direct conversations about potentially uncomfortable subjects. So prepare yourself, right? We can't pour from an empty cup. we gotta check ourselves. Like, if I think that it's offensive to look at sex or pornography, and I find out that my kiddo is looking up pornography, as a parent, sometimes it might be hard to be like, what are you doing? And then create shame, right? That's not going to help create an open line of dialogue, right? So we've got to check ourselves and be ready to have that. Well, you know, sometimes at your age you might get curious, but let's talk about why I, as your parent, think that's inappropriate, or why I think that's not something you should be looking at, right? So check yourself and be ready to have potentially uncomfortable conversations, because they're going to do that, right? Or if they're not, their friends might, or they might hear it from someone else, right? And they might find information that's uncomfortable, right? Every year, there's a kiddo who does an internet search and finds something out about their parent that maybe they didn't know before. And then that becomes tricky, right? Because there are no secrets online for us either, right? Yeah, you can find out I got a speeding ticket this year. Yep, I did. Finally. Okay, right? So, I mean, there are no secrets about us online either. Like, you can Google search anybody. So be ready to have those uncomfortable, candid, open conversations with your kiddos without judgment. Because we've all been there, we've all made mistakes, right? So be curious. Speaking from genuine curiosity versus judgment will help your child feel seen and heard. So you might say things like, oh, a new app, tell me more. Or, how did you hear about that? Or, wow, that sounds really interesting. Tell me more about it. What do you know about it? Okay. Go slow. Sometimes the social urgency can feel so intense, but remind you and your child that it's not a race. So when your kiddo's like, I really want to get it right now, you might want to say, I know you want to download it right now. I know you want to use this right now, but I'd love to wait so we can learn more together. How about we talk more about it tonight after soccer? So model that pressing pause until you're emotionally ready to go there. Right? And I've made that mistake as a parent too. My kiddo asks me a question or wants to talk about a topic that maybe I'm a little uncomfortable about, and then I jump into it and it goes badly. The conversation goes badly because I maybe passed a judgment on it or something, right? Whereas if I would have just pressed pause and said, hold up, let's give it a little bit of time, and when I'm in a better headspace to talk about this and I'm ready, then let's do that, right? Learn together. Download the app yourself or use the platform together, and sit alongside your child as you explore how it works. So you might say, you know, I actually heard about this app today from a friend. Come sit by me on the couch and let's check it out together. So kind of co-play through it. Or if they're using a new educational platform, I think about like Seesaw when we were during COVID, or Google Classroom for a lot of families during COVID. Sit down together with your kiddo as they're doing their work, or say, hey, what are you working on in ELA right now? What are you working on in math right now? What sorts of work are you doing in science on your Chromebook? I didn't have a Chromebook when I was your age in school. Tell me how you're doing science on that. So ask direct questions about it. Have them show you what they're doing. Engage in that process. Cyberbullying prevention refers to understanding the impact of cyberbullying and taking steps to prevent and stop it. So, cyberbullying is repeated, intentionally hurtful online behavior, posts, and messages, and is often the result of lagging social skills, where there is an inability to respectfully, peacefully, and assertively resolve social conflicts. So really the core of bullying is a lack of an understanding of what a better way to work out those conflicts is, right? There's no respite. Back in my day, bullying was typically a Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 3:30 thing, right? The minute I got home from school and I didn't have to worry about it again, I could go home to the safety of my family, and I didn't have to worry about the bullies who were giving me a hard time until I went back to school. But with digital technology, it's 24/7, 365. I can't look forward to holiday break to get away from it because I still have access to Google Classroom, where if they wanted to, they could post a mean comment about me in the classroom thread every day if they wanted to, right? And it hits different. So words, messages, photos, and videos, there's immediate sharing. Everyone knows, and it can live online forever. Just because the person who posted it deleted it doesn't mean it's gone. Somebody else could have screenshot it and then shared it. And then they take it down, somebody screenshot it and shared it, right? So there are no secrets, and there can be no end. So the important part for us as adults is to really model and explicitly teach our kiddos what we expect with regard to respect, right? You don't have to like that person, you don't have to be best friends with that person, but you've got to agree to disagree and recognize that they have their way, you have your way, and let's work it out using peaceful conflict resolution strategies, right? We want to practice conflict resolution, conflict management skills, and show respectful kindness towards others in spite of differences, right? You and I, we might not agree on things, but I can still be a decent, kind human being to you, right? You think this way, I think this way, that's cool. I can still be decent to you, right? So that's really the modeling that we want to talk about with kids, right? And you might think this way, I might think this way, we might disagree, but that doesn't mean I have to take it online. If I've got a problem with you, I gotta work it out face to face, right? And if I wouldn't say it in person, I certainly shouldn't post it online. But everybody gets really brave online, right? Think about Facebook, right? Think about the posts that people post about everything, right? They would never come up to you and say, I think that your decision about this is blah, blah, blah. But sure, they will let everybody, the whole world know online, right? Because it doesn't take a whole lot of bravery or courage to post something. But it does take a lot of bravery and courage to go up to somebody and say, I really think that decision you made was really stupid, right? But if I wouldn't be brave enough to do that in person, don't do it online, right? And model that for your kiddos too. Check yourself. As their significant adult, will you clearly communicate the technology expectations? Will you model what you wish to see your child do? They are watching and learning from you. So, set boundaries. There's a really great app called, in addition to Common Sense Media, there's it's not an app, it's a site called Screen Sanity. And it was created by 3 moms who are done with the Screen Sanity. And they have some really great resources on there that help adults set limits. So they have what's known as digital driver's ed. Their take on it is, you wouldn't give your kiddos the keys to a car and say, all right, you're ready to drive, you're 16, go drive, right? So their pull is, we shouldn't do that with technology either. Here's your Chromebook, go, right? So they have some really great tools for you as families to use to help them create boundaries and ways that you can really get your own digital health in check. Again, and this presentation will be shared with you, so you'll have the link to that. But again, they have the digital driver's ed, a plugged-in planner, and a Smarter Start toolkit. Okay. Any questions about how to stay balanced?
Here we have our digital starting points and digital driver ed examples that you could go ahead and download by visiting screensanity.org. Go get your own copy now.